Howdy guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video of Amikin Survival. How we doing? Hope you guys are well. So, for me, I believe it's been a while since I've dived back into Amikin and actually recorded a video for you guys too. So, I wanted to sort of jump back in and have a bit of a chat with you guys and just sort of go over the latest update a little bit and basically sort of lay it out from, in my opinion and what I feel like what we need to do now, I guess, and if we want to sort of, get to, I guess, the pointy end of being at this point in time a end game player. So, what I mean by that is there's been an update. We've got given a brand new map and new Amikins and new experiences and new challenges and things of that nature. Now, we do have if you guys are up to that part as well, we do have the defeat a Roth I guess assignment, if you will, and that also implicates us because Ryuth is a very tough customer. So I'm in no way, shape or form able to defeat him in my current state at the moment, but I am working towards it. And what I'm working towards is what I'm assuming that a lot of you guys would be doing as well, is we need to do a lot in terms of upgrading our facilities, right? Our workstations, to get them up to to a point where we can actually craft a tier 4 materials. So for me, at the moment, I am crafting a few bits and pieces of iron parts at the moment, but we want to get to plaster steel parts. Now, this is going to be a bit of an endeavor because we need to upgrade the furnace up to a level 3. So currently at the moment, as you can see, I do have the required physical essence, which I'll get back into a moment, and then we need some of the little bits and pieces such as the concrete block. Now, for me, I don't have the stone farm available just yet. I can craft it, I just don't have the materials for that. So that unfortunately needs to come to back to a point where I need to finish off the other workstations in order to make the quarry, which is what it's called. Now the quarry needs pretty much all tier 4 parts, right? This was easy because I had a bunch of those lying around about to break, so I ended up throwing those into the ether. Now you can't actually take those out, but they're there for a reason, and then we need a lot of physical essence. Now I'm beginning to see that physical essence is a very in-demand resource, and what I mean by that is if we head over to even just the carpenter's bench, so let's just head over here, and we were wanting to upgrade this, you need a lot of physical essence. As you can see, I'm actually not that far away. I need the concrete. So the concrete is just holding me back, but I've got all the other bits and pieces ready to go. And in terms of the stone cutter, I've got that up to its maximum value, which is level 2, but we need quite a bit of stone block in order to do this, right? And as you can see, I really don't have much to speak of. So the concrete is going to be one of the important building materials in order to upgrade a lot of our workstations, but also more importantly, we need a lot of physical essence. So to do all this, and the reason why that I'm sort of explaining it in this way, because I mentioned earlier, I'd like to defeat the Royuth, right? So that is one thing that I'm looking at wanting to do. Obviously it's going to be an end game, quote unquote, completion as part of this part of the story. And I would imagine by the time I get to this point, we're going to go through maybe an update or two before we can actually do that. Whether or not, if the Roth is, or Ryuth, whatever you want to call him, right? It's that big green fella. We know who he is. But I would imagine there might be some rebalancing as well, because when you look at him and when you try and take him on, he's got about 3,000 or so plus HP. So it's going to take a good while for you to actually defeat the fella. So with that being said, and what I'm sort of trying to get at is I'm doing a lot of farming at the moment. So I want to head out and I want to sort of explain what I mean by that. So at the moment, I'm actually farming in the Mirror Water Lake map. And the reason why I've done this is because I feel like there is a lot of the physical, there we go, the physical Amikins for us to take out. So as you can see, if I actually had a gun, I would have actually taken a shot at that specific Amikin as well. But as you can see, we've already collected a couple of Amikins as well, wrapped up a few of their essences. There we go. So we'll take out Twinkle in a moment. So the reason why that I'm doing this, okay, so, well, it's the Fluffet, that's what they're called. All right, so the Cora Leaper, I can take you out, no problems as well. You do pretty good in terms of damage. So my Rocknut does really good damage here. But what I'm sort of trying to explain is we need a lot of resources to get a lot of these, these workstations upgraded, so we can actually craft tier 3/tier 4 weaponry, armor, things of that nature. So that's basically where I am at the moment, and the reason why that I'm using this location here, because I feel like it's a pretty good location, only because it gives us a bit of flexibility in terms of how many Amikins that we can actually take on, but more importantly, there's a lot of physical Amikins in this area as well. So they are in selected areas of the map, and you know the way to get them, you can take any option, right? You don't necessarily need to go and go down the pathway as to how I'm doing it, but I mean other people have got their own ways of doing it. Like I said, if I had a gun, I would have been able to take you out, but unfortunately the swing attack in this is not that fast. So I know you can probably get away with utilizing other weapons, but for me, I think the guns are the most the ones that make sense, which is the easiest one for me to sort of utilize in order for me to take out those Amikins and get those extra physical essence. So I would be missing out on some of those, but what I'm wanting to sort of demonstrate is how much you can potentially get in a singular run of the Mirror Water Lake, and I guess that's where I'm sort of at the moment. You'll notice I'm picking up a lot of heals as well, because I do like to have a bit of an inventory space of these of those resources, only because that I'm making a lot of heals, and that enables me to, you know, continue on and take out a lot of you know, and do a lot of runs with fighting and things like that. And if I need to potentially, you know, take on the big boy there, I can do that as well. But as you can see, I've got about 150 odd altogether in regards to heals, so it's not too bad. And as you can see, Rockno, despite the water versus earth deficit, he does pretty well, or she does pretty well, because it's a she, not a he. But basically what I'm also utilizing this this Amikin for as well is more of a hunting and training ground to evolve and help increase my Amikin's attack power, and that also basically comes back to the point that I want to take on the Rioth or Roth, whatever. I think it's called a Roth, because if you say it's raw and then with the TH, so Roth, I think it's called a Roth. Anyway, let's refer to it as a Roth, okay? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to increase all of my Amikin's levels, powers to reflect my own. Okay, we can take the Oogle Puff out and get some more physical essences. Twinkle, 100%, I want to take you on as well. So yeah, so basically that's what I'm doing. And I'm sort of trying to be a little bit strategic in the way that I'm sort of going about these things. I think these guys are all standard and native. Actually, what I might do is see if we can just pick up a couple of these things before I get detected. And we shall move out. And I've got this Dewey after me, so let's just go ahead and deal with the Dewey. Okay, thank you very much for that, Rockna. Dewey there, and let's continue on. So yeah, so basically that's what I'm doing. I am just trying to grind it out, and I'm sort of doing it in this sort of carousel of things that I'm sort of going around the whole map, picking a fight pretty much with all of these Amikins here, and mainly for the sole purpose of just finding physical essence. So at the moment I've got 12, so it's not too bad. But if I was able to take on these Fluffettes that are yellow and passive, then I could probably potentially get a little bit more for my troubles. So I guess on average for me, I've been able to get anywhere upwards of over a full stack quite easily. There we go. So I wasn't even able to hit that Fluffette, but not even that either. That's a little bit annoying. Look, you try and you try. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you actually do get lucky, and most times, as you can see, as what you've just seen from me, I'm not as lucky. So let's continue on this way. Now, I don't know whether or not if there's any physical Amikins over this way. There is. There is one. One is better than none. So I'll pick up that, and that's just another Coral Leaper. So let's just move on. Okay, let's head up here, and there's another Twinkle. So yeah, so this is what I'm sort of doing. I'm just sort of going about my business, and I'm just running this as a default. So I guess the reason why, and like I said before, this all sort of comes together full circle as to what I'm sort of wanting to achieve. So we look at it from a whole bigger, broader picture point of view, right? I'm needing to get resources in order for me to upgrade my workstations. How I do it is obviously up to me as the individual player. So the approach that I've taken is that I'm running the Mirror Water Lake. Number one, it is an easier zone to conquer. The Amikins are quite easy to take out, and we're getting a decent amount of essences and things like that, which in turn allows me to get the most in-demand resource at the moment to pop into my workstations to facilitate upgrades. Now, the next part of the equation is that I'm wanting to upgrade my Amikins. Okay, I'm wanting to basically increase their stats and their value, so that way we can get them as strong as possible. So we know that level 40 is the max cutoff in terms of levels, so I'm only 3 levels away from a player perspective, but as you can see, my Rocknar is sitting on level 4. I do have my my Swimander at level 37, so Swimander is obviously going to level up with me because that was my first Amikin that I actually picked up. And then I've also got a Zappy, which will also share that same trait that will also level up automatically as my player levels up. So I don't need to worry about those two, but it's all the other Amikins that I'm basically worried about. Now, and then this is basically just going to contribute to me wanting to take on the Roth at some point. So I want to do it fairly soon, but I'm also conscious that I do also need to make sure that I've got a roster, a decent roster of Amikins that are going to help me out and actually, you know, provide some pretty decent cover and damage capabilities to the Roth. Now, going back to the Roth there, it's an Earth style Amikin, so naturally Fire is going to be the best Amikin, or the Fire type, I should say, is going to be the best Amikin for you to utilize. Now, I've got a Blazehorn. So the Blazehorn is pretty much maxed out at the moment. Is it the best? Probably not. Only because I don't actually have an S or a double S quality Amikin, which is fine. It is what it is. So what I'm sort of trying to do is I'm trying to work with what I've got. So if we quickly have a quick peek, my Blazehorn is a level 8, so, which I feel like is pretty good. 200 damage. We're at level 37, so it's doing it's pulling some pretty decent numbers, right? Its attacks are pretty good as well, 225 for the main two, and then 161 for the standard attack that we've got here as well. So that doesn't, to me, it's not too bad, right? And then I've got someone like Zappy. Zappy is OP at the moment, 224, a little bit higher than what Blazehorn is for a non-evolutioned Amikin. I don't know if this is an evolved form or not, or a pre-evolved form, or whatever it might be, or there might be a pre-evolved form version of Zappy, who knows, but we don't know that. And of course, like I said, I've got Swimander, which is just under the 200 mark as well. So it's still pulling out some pretty good numbers here. But what I'm wanting to do myself is I'm definitely wanting to get my Flare Hoot up there as well. So at the moment, as you can see, it's only a 2-star Flare Hoot level, A grade, of course, as well. Power is a 132, and we're at level 34. So eventually, now this doesn't also have an evolution either, so I can't actually evolve Flare Hoot into something else, but I've seen that Flare Hoot does do some pretty good damage and is a pretty stout Amikin. So the reason why I'm sort of focusing mainly on getting my Fire evolution Amikins is obviously it's going to deal a lot more damage on the Roth, right? But I feel like I'm going to need at least 4 Amikins in order for me to do the job. Okay, so The reason why I sort of say that is, and I'm sort of basing this on loosely on some of the evolved form of Amikins that I've encountered. So things like the is it the Twirly? I believe it's called Twirly, and you've got Whispered, you've got the trying to figure out the name, but I think it's called Ember Fawn or Ember Inks. I think it's the Ember Inks. Oh, that's all right. I should be fine. Yeah, so Ember Inks. My bad. So I got a level 30 at 120 as well. So Ember Inks could do some pretty decent damage, but it's only category C, so it's not really something that is going to be potent in a sense. So I'm sort of like weighing up my options as to if I want to pursue that, whether if it's more economical to build up another, say, Fawn, or even that of another Flare Hoot, which I'm sort of thinking about utilizing Flare Hoot again as a secondary backup. And then potentially if I use someone like Rocknar does have some pretty decent attack damage as well, but it's only at 170 at the moment. So I don't know how high that will be able to jump when it gets to the max level. So that I'm not too sure of. So let me know in the comments, guys. What type of Amikins have you encountered that you feel that are pretty high powered? I think for me, I can't look at anyone at this point in time that is under 200. My expectation with a lot of these Amikins, I feel like they're going to get closer to the 250 mark once we reach to level 40 as a maxed out player slash Amikin. So taking that all into account, I feel like, and going back to the evolved forms like your Whispards, your Blazehorns, Twirlies, they're roughly about anywhere between 1,500, 1,000 to 800, I think, to about 1,500 worth of HP. Now I feel like some of my Amikins can actually stand up to that with obviously my intervention as well to take out that specific Amikin without dying themselves. They wouldn't be able to take out two, one after the other, so I don't expect them to do that either. And obviously they will eventually fall. But the reason why I'm sort of trying to look at possibly between 2 and 4 Amikins is I want to upgrade as well my what do you call it? My I've got to get back to base so I can actually look at it for you with you guys. But my Amikin, sorry, my player's armband. Now I want to get that up to the next stage and the next level, and obviously to do that, we're going to need to also increase and upgrade the workbench, being the Amikin lab as well. So I want to get to the Nomads one. So that means it's going to give me a couple of slots, which I think it gives me +3 overall versus the +1, which gives me the facilitation to use 2 Amikins, because normally without having the Pathfinder armband, you can have 1 Amikin with you at all times, but you can't have 2, and you can't sort of flick back and forth. So what that means is the Nomad's armband is going to give me at least 3 Amikins that I can use on the fly without having to go into the menu, select the Amikin to become a fighter, and throw them into the ring, if that makes sense. So that's basically where I'm at with things. So it does cost a little bit as well in order to do. So just to sort of give you guys a bit of an idea, that is the recipe for it. In order to upgrade, that's what we're looking at as well, just to sort of give you guys a bit of an idea. Now, I mentioned earlier before that doing 1 run in the Mirror Water Lake, right? So for me, even without taking out the passive physical Amikins, I ended up with 32 pieces, which is not too bad, which is all that I have at the moment, unfortunately. So it's not too bad in the sense where we can run this multiple times, and I guess, it's nearly 20 minutes into the video. I've already completed 1 run into it. If I was really focusing on it without, recording, chatting to you guys, I could probably get this done within about 15 minutes, probably max 15 minutes. So if I use that, and if I use the law of averages, and taking into account that I can actually pick up those additional passive Amikins, I'll probably have at least a bit over 2 stacks worth of essence. So I would say anywhere between 40 to 50 pieces. Now, why that's important, because a lot of the upgrades cost anywhere between 70 to 100 physical essence. So what that means is it will take you several runs to get those physical essences in order for you to do those upgrades. So if I were to do, say, this one here, which is, I think this is the next one that I'm wanting to work on as well. So yes, So I can pretty much pop all that in. I've got 62 out of 70, so I'm ready to go on that. And I guess once I've done all of that, then I can move on to the next thing that I feel that's absolutely vital for me. For me, I want to start collecting a lot of stone. So stone is the next on my agenda once I've done all the physical essences. And then from thereafter, I will focus on scrap metal. So I do have the scrap yard actually up and running too. So I don't think I've actually shown that to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and run across over here and do that too. Now, admittedly, I don't think this harvests as much as I would like it to harvest, unfortunately. So it's not as fast and as frequent. Compare that to the farms over here. So what I've got for the berries and also what I've got for the fiber themselves. I feel like I get a lot more fiber than what I get a lot more scrap metal. So I'm not too sure what that situation is or why that's a thing, because I feel like they're very close to each other in terms of how long it takes for things to be harvested. Whereas with something like the berry farm produces a lot of berries for me, and I'm happy with that. I haven't had the real need to actually go in and pick up a lot of berries in the wild, which is why I just predominantly focus on getting the herbal heals, so I can get more heals for myself, so more potions and whatnot. So I guess that's where things are at with me. And obviously doing this as a byproduct as well, I am also getting the small water egg, which I'm actually not that far away from getting my aqua disc as well. So we are up to level 47 at the moment, 48 once I put in the next egg, and then we're only 2 more away from getting our Ami disc as well. So which is aqua disc, Ami disc, aqua disc. And then I want to focus my attention on trying to get more physical small eggs, which you can get, but for me, I feel like it takes a lot longer to get the physical egg, because I feel like I've got to travel more into the starweed meadows to pick up a physical egg. So look, it is what it is, and I'm trying to get through all the other eggs that I've got anyway, so we're gonna free up some space. So that's basically what I'm up to and what I'm sort of doing at the moment now that we've already got the new update. It's been about a week or so since the new update has dropped, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are you guys focusing on and how you guys are going about it, which I feel like is the more important question. Because some people like to do bits of everything here and there. Other people like to focus on things one at a time, like I'm doing at the moment, and others are potentially in between, or they're just doing their own thing, which is always a good thing too. Just sort of breaks things up. But for me, I feel like once I sort of get all the essences, I can go and head out to the stone echoes, farm all the stone that I need. I can catch more flare hoots as well at the same time, fuse them, and then get my flare hoot to maximum value as well. And then that way that gives me another Amikin that I can potentially utilize when I go and try and take on the Roth as well. So that is how I'm thinking, and that's my thought process behind it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So with that all being said and done, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, checking out this one here. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, share if you can. And if you guys are new to the channel or not and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. Alrighty guys, appreciate it, take it easy, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.